Conference call. Today's call is being recorded. At this time, for opening remarks and introductions, I'd like to turn the call over to Dave Lockett. Please go ahead.
Well, welcome everybody to the UFC 218 conference call. UFC 218 will take place next Saturday, December 2nd at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. Today we're being joined by the main event fighters from UFC 218, Holloway versus Aldo 2. On the line with us today are UFC featherweight champion Max Holloway and number one contender and former featherweight champion Jose Aldo. Welcome, gentlemen. I will now turn things over to the call center to open it for questions.
Yes, sir. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you do wish to ask a question, please use your *1 feature. Please also make sure that your mute function is turned off to allow your signal to reach our equipment. Once again, *1 will place you into the queue. We will pause for just a moment to allow everyone the opportunity to signal. We'll go ahead and take our first caller. We have Nick Baldwin with SB Nation.
Hi, guys. Thank you very much for the time. And first question is for Max. It's strange to be fighting Jose Aldo so soon after beating him just in June of this year. Does it feel weird to be fighting him just, half a year after the first fight?
Not at all. It is what it is, like I said before. At the end of the day, I'm just having a fight. I told the people at Detroit, I told my fans, I sacrificed so much time not to fight on December 2nd, and he's the guy that pulled the straw, and he's the next guy up, The only thing weird about this whole situation is, if you look at this guy's camp, he normally never ever does take short notice fights. He normally don't fight this often, if you look at the record, he fought at 200, and he fought me at UFC 212. Now he's fighting me here, I think there's a fast turnaround. I think so. This is going to be his first UFC fight. He's walking out first. He's going to be announced first. There's a lot of weird things, I think it's weird for him, but, at the end of the day, I put his name. I'm ready to fight, I was ready to fight. I was ready to fight anyone, like you said, my coaches, my management and stuff told me about 55er fights, and, we was willing to go up if we had to, but it is what it is, so. I got blessed with Jose. I get to prove to everybody why I'm the best in the world, and December 2nd is going to be a fun night.
Well, as you said, you were willing to fight on December 2nd just about anybody, whether it's at featherweight or lightweight. Who do you think, though, at the end of the day, deserved this title shot more, Jose Aldo or Cub Swanson?
I don't know. That's your guys' job. That's the UFC job. I'm a fighter. I don't think so. Who deserves what more? Who does this and that, whatever. I get to make history, I made history in Brazil. I get to make history in Detroit now. And I didn't care who it was, as long as I got to fight, like I said. I'm not a matchmaker. I'm a fighter. And right now that's what I focus on. I focus on fighting, You put him in front of me, like I said, light him up. I'm going to knock him down.
And a question for Jose. Pretty simple question. Why will the rematch be different? Why will it play out differently?
Júnior, por que essa revanche vai ser diferente? Por que o resultado vai ser diferente dessa luta?
Pela vontade que eu tô, Eu acho que eu sempre fui campeão, sempre defendi o título. Então, ter essa oportunidade, mais uma vez, eu sei que a última luta não foi o resultado que eu esperava, mas agora eu acho que estou muito mais treinado, focado. E tenho certeza que o resultado vai ser bem diferente da primeira luta.
It's going to be different because I'm motivated. I'm very well trained right now. I'm really focused, and I believe that it's going to be a different ending from the first fight.
And one more for you, Jose. You were scheduled to fight Ricardo Lamas in your first UFC non-title fight. It would have been 3 rounds, your first 3-round fight in the octagon. What were your thoughts on that? Firstly, having your first non-title fight, it wasn't on a pay-per-view. And how will that change? You're of course very used to doing 5-round title fights. Do you care? Are you happy that it's, a 5-round fight? Were you looking forward to your first 3-rounder? What are your thoughts on that?
Júnior, você ia fazer a tua primeira luta no UFC, que não era por um título, ia ser a primeira luta sua por 3 rounds. Como é que era isso para você? O que você estava pensando? E para você é melhor ter uma luta de 5 rounds?
Eu acho que eu estou muito mais adaptado a fazer luta de 5 rounds. Eu acho que fazer 3 para mim é a coisa mais normal do mundo. Não vejo diferença. Eu acho que eu não me lembro a última vez que eu treinei com uma luta que tinha 3 rounds. Acho que, para mim, não influenciava em nada. Eu acho que eu estou tão acostumado já a fazer 5 rounds que os 3 rounds que eu estava fazendo, estava me sentindo muito bem. Mas é normal, né? Eu acho que isso faz parte da evolução do esporte, faz parte de tudo aquilo que vem acontecendo dentro do UFC. Eu fico feliz que, novamente, eu estou fazendo uma luta pelo título.
I think it makes no difference. I was used to fighting 5 rounds for so long that 3 rounds wouldn't have made a difference. But, you know, it's the evolution of the sport, and I'm happy to be fighting again a 5-rounder fight.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for the time.
Thank you.
Next question comes from Damon Martin with UFC.com.
Hey guys, first question is for Max. Max, having beaten Jose back in June, I hear a lot of times it is tough to get up for a rematch, especially an immediate rematch. When you do finish the fight so emphatically, you finished him in a 3rd-round TKO. I mean, how was the mindset, hearing that he was going to be the guy? Did it take you a minute to get motivated again? Or how was the mindset, when you found out it was going to be Jose again?
Look, guys, talk about motivation. This guy talking about how motivated he is for the belt. I have no idea when people talk about motivation. This guy, we fought him in his hometown, this last one. He was a champion, and for him to be saying that motivation, now he feels way more motivated. If fighting for your country and fighting in front of your people for your belt, defending your belt, not enough motivation, what's going on? I'm motivated. The belt is great. You know what comes with the belt? Bigger payday, pay-per-views, and a lot of more stuff. But the belt is a belt. A fight is a fight. I ain't trying to go out there and get my butt whooped, my ass whooped in front of millions of people watching at home, thousands of people. That's not what I'm about. I'm in the business. I'm in the hurt business. I'm out there. I want to get mine, and I want to win. I don't care who I fight. We can fight. I can fight this guy 10 times in a row. I'll be motivated. That's just what I am. It's this warrior spirit that I have in myself, and the self-belief I have in myself. It doesn't take much to be motivated. I don't know why people talk about it's hard to get motivated, this and that. You're in the wrong business, man. This business, you can get hurt. There's the other guy trying to hurt you seriously in there, And this guy talking about motivation and stuff. It just blows my mind, man. It blows my mind, and I'm motivated, man. I don't care if it was him. I don't care who it was. I was ready for the next guy up and line him up and knock him down.
I know, your long-term goal, Max, is to be considered one of the greatest of all time. At this stage, Jose is considered, the greatest featherweight champion of all time because he's had the title defenses and things like that. But if you beat him 2 times in a row, considering his record, in a weird way, do you feel like that's even bigger for your career? You would be the first guy to ever hold 2 wins over him, and immediately you kind of eliminate Jose from probably, ever fighting you a 3rd time. It's rarely ever happens. Is there a benefit of this fight happening right now?
Yeah, at the end of the day, this is a legacy fight. Like I said, it's huge for legacy. Jose never lost back-to-back. And like you said, nobody ever beat him twice. But, me being the greatest featherweight champion is a longer. This is a step, though. It's a stepping stone. And, I just got to focus. I got to focus on this one first, and then I got to get, how much defenses he got. He got 6, 7, or 8 of them or something like that, combining his WEC wins. So, at the end of the day, I need to focus on the record. I'm just focused on this next fight. Like I said, it's 1-0 all the time. I'm 1-0 going to this fight, and I think so. It helps my legacy a lot. But that's just what it is. It's a legacy fight. It helps me. It helps me get out there and one step closer to be proving to people why I should be considered one of the best guys to ever do this and to ever compete in the sport.
And Max, I don't want to take away the attention from this fight because you're fighting Jose Aldo, so I don't want to take the attention away from that. But I heard, that you were, willing to fight a lot of guys, beyond Cub Swanson and Jose Aldo. I'd heard that, maybe Cowboy Cerrone and you were throwing out maybe Tony Ferguson. how willing were you to, even take a super fight at lightweight to make sure you stayed on this card?
I was super willing. I ain't talks. I'm a fighter, Shit, I was saying whatever weight. I didn't even care. I promised the people of Hawaii, I promised the people of Detroit that they're gonna see Max Holloway fight December 2nd. I promised my fans, my family, and I promised you guys, that I'm gonna fight no matter what. And people want to call them the best in the world. The best in the world is not getting ready for one guy. You guys like the olden days. Pedro Sauer. I did 2 Pedro Sauer seminars in between these camps, and Pedro used to talk to us about challenge matches, and when people came, you just had to be ready and. That's the mindset I have, If you want to prove you're the best, you got to fight, So I was willing to fight anybody, just Detroit out there and fight. You know, that's what the best do. They're not worried about what others can do to them. You know, they better be worried about what I'm going to do to them. I'm just here to fight.
And a couple questions for Jose. Jose, you haven't been a guy, because you've been a champion so much in your career, you haven't really had the opportunity to take, many short notice fights. The only other time I can remember was the Conor McGregor rematch. And obviously we know why you turned that down. But what was it about this? Was it just the chance to fight for the title again? Was it because you were already training for a fight with Ricardo Lamas? What was it that made a difference saying yes this time?
Jonah, o que foi que fez você aceitar essa luta? Você, tendo sido campeão há tanto tempo, nunca aceitou realmente lutas de última hora, assim. Mas o que foi que te motivou a aceitar essa luta? Foi lutar pelo cinturão, uma revanche?
Então, acho que eu nunca tive revanche, eu já fiz revanche, né? Eu acho que pelo fato de ser campeão não tem como você entrar, cobrir um evento, vamos falar assim. Eu sempre fui campeão na minha vida, então não sei o que é isso. Eu acho que não é questão de aceitar, eu já venho treinando para uma luta, eu acho que só desse podia ser menos. Eu sempre treinei, não vou lutar 3 rounds, eu não faço 3 rounds, eu faço mais, eu treino 4, 5 rounds. E quando eu faço luta de 5 rounds, eu treino sempre a mais, eu treino 6, 7 rounds. Então, não faz diferença para mim essa troca, né? Eu acho que, primeiramente, eu tenho que agradecer ao meu oponente de ter aceitado também fazer a luta. Eu acho que ele está no direito dele, de acabou de ganhar o título e de escolher quem ele poderia lutar. Então não é questão de Aldo aceitar uma luta. Eu sou lutador, eu acho que eu só sei fazer isso na minha vida. Eu acho que desde quando eu estou nesse esporte, eu sempre tive sendo campeão. Então nunca tive a oportunidade de fazer uma revanche eu perdendo. Tive a luta com o Conor, onde eu tive uma derrota, onde que, para mim, no meu ponto de vista, eu merecia fazer uma revanche em nome dela. Mas estão me dando uma luta, eu já venho treinando para uma luta, não estava destreinado, não estava em casa, então já venho treinando já para lutar. Certo.
Yeah, I was always a champion, so I didn't get many opportunities to do that, and I haven't had a rematch after a loss in my career. I obviously wanted that one against Conor McGregor after my loss to him, but it wasn't really a matter of accepting this fight. I had already been training for another fight, so it didn't matter if it was a difference from a 3-rounder fight to a 5-rounder fight. I have to thank Max for accepting it, but it really wasn't a matter of me accepting. I was ready to go.
And Jose, as I mentioned before, everyone holds you in such high regard as the greatest featherweight we've seen in the sport. But how important is a fight like this for your legacy? I mean, obviously you intend on winning, but losing to Max a second time would be devastating. So how important is this fight for your legacy and what you want to remember for your career?
Qual a importância dessa luta pro seu legado? Todo mundo te tem hoje como o melhor peso-pena de todos os tempos, mas você já perdeu pro Max uma vez e claro que você vai querer vencer essa luta, mas o que significaria pro seu legado talvez perder ou até ganhar essa luta?
Acho que pouca gente no UFC, né? A gente conta no giro aqueles que perderam e conseguiram conquistar o título. Eu já fiz isso uma vez e fazendo isso de novo, eu acho que eu entro dentro da história, né? Então eu estou em busca disso, lógico, eu luto para vencer sempre, não importa qual seja o resultado, mas o legado eu vou deixar assim. Acho que é a terceira vez que eu me torno campeão.
Yeah, there's not many people that are able to come back and win the title again, and I've done that, and for me to be able to come back and win this title again would mean a lot for my legacy.
And my last question, Jose, having fought Max before, having the fight end the way it ended, what is the difference? 6 months later, I mean, obviously you're facing him back-to-back. What do you feel like is the difference now, versus that last fight that's going to get you a win this time?
E você já lutou com o Max uma vez, todo mundo sabe, mas qual é a diferença agora? O que vai mudar nessa luta contra o Max?
Eu acho que muda o lado que nós estamos agora, né? Eu acho que a primeira luta foi uma grande luta, foi um lutão. E para mim, não vejo uma mudança, que eu vou fazer, vai ter um... Não, eu acho que tanto eu quanto ele, a gente já se conhecemos de um ao outro, só mudou o lado que nós estamos. Hoje em dia ele está com título e eu não estou. Na primeira luta ele estava sendo campeão e ele não. Então para mim mudou isso. Eu acho que a gana que eu estou pode ser maior pelo fato de conquistar o título. Eu acho que isso sim que me motiva mais e está subindo lá dentro e vencer essa luta.
What really changes is the side that I'm in right now. The first fight, I thought it was great. But, the difference is what side. He's coming in as a champion right now. He was the challenger before, and now I'm the guy who's going in there and challenging to win the belt again. So that's really what's motivating me, is to be able to re-accomplish this and get my belt back.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, as a reminder, it is *1 to be placed into the queue at this time. We next move to Akhilesh Ganavarapu with MMAIndia.com.
Hello, gentlemen. Thank you for the time. My first two questions go to Max. Firstly, Max, I wanted to get your thoughts on that matchup with Frankie Edgar. All of the fans were excited when that fight was announced. So what were your thoughts when Edgar got injured?
It must have been a hell of a hit to injure him, because that guy never ever get injured, you know. And when I heard he was injured, I was bummed, you know. There's a lot of fight for legacy, you know. Like I said before, you guys know the history he has with Hawaiian and Hawaii. So, you know, it was one to get back for the good guys, and it didn't end up happening, you know. I hope that guy's speedy recovery. Hopefully, maybe down the line, we can face each other and get that fight done. But, you know, right now, like I said, you know, it's Jose Aldo, you know. He's the next one at bat, and the next one I got to take down.
Absolutely. Immediately afterwards, Cub Swanson threw his name into the hat. So I also wanted to get your thoughts on what do you make of the featherweight division and the fact that there are at least 3 people in Frankie, Cub, and Aldo that people believe deserve a title shot.
You know, that's not my job. You know, I'm a fighter. That's what I do. I fight. You line them up, I knock them down. Simple as that. You know, 1 + 1 is 2. 2 + 2 is 4. You know, you guys as MMA analysts, you guys as MMA writers, that's your guys' job. You know, and there's matchmakers for UFC, and that's their job. You know, matchmakers pick this fight. At the end of the day, it is what it is.
All right, Max, my final question for you. Your strength has always been winning on attrition, and you come back strong in the championship rounds. That was the case the last time you fought Jose as well, you know. Are you expecting more or less the same from Jose?
You know, I've been, you know, you guys can call me Dory. If any of you guys found me Finding Nemo, you know, it's, I don't even remember fighting this guy. This is a whole new guy. I'm going there, I'm going to fight him. You know, this is what I got to do. You know, if too much people depend on, this is what he did the first fight, so it's going to replay in the second fight. We don't know what happens. I'm getting ready for the best Jose Aldo, like I do in every camp. I was getting ready for the best Frankie Edgar. Now it's Aldo, you know, and so on and so on. So, you know, you guys didn't even see me in the championship round. I didn't even go to a 4th or 5th round, so no one knows, you know. It's true. Maybe I might be a slow start in the beginning, and I get stronger as the fight go on. But we see what happens, you know. I got new tricks up my sleeve for this fight. You know, tune in, you guys. Don't not miss out. It's gonna be a fun one. Like I said, this card is stacked from top to bottom, from the opening fight on the opening card. You know, not just the main card. You know, this main card is stacked, but the whole card is stacked. I got a teammate again, you know, with me. I got Yancy Medeiros. Last time me and Yancy was on the same card, we fought Brazilians, you know, and we fought Brazils in Brazil, and look what happened. You know, we're going to Detroit now on USA soil, and I see the fight going many ways, and 2-1 is going to come out top that night.
All right, next few questions for Jose. One of the interesting things you mentioned recently was you holding back in your last fight. You said you saw Max's offense as his strong point and kind of relied heavily on your defensive game. Could you elaborate on if that is a true interpretation of what you said?
O Aldo, ele está falando que recentemente você falou da ofensiva do Holloway, que como você lutou na primeira luta. Fala pouco de que você achou da primeira luta.
Eu não entendi muito bem, galera. Repete, por favor, a pergunta, irmão.
Ele está falando que leu alguns comentários seus, falando sobre a luta defensiva e ofensiva na primeira luta. Fala o que você achou do primeiro encontro de vocês.
Cara, eu acho que a primeira luta foi ótima, ótimo para os fãs. Eu acho que tanto eu quanto o Max, a gente deu tudo de si. Eu acho que isso é um esporte. Eu acho que nem sempre ele pode vir ou não. Eu acho que eu preferi a vencer. Mas, cara, eu acho que foi uma grande luta. Eu acho que tanto eu quanto ele, meu irmão, são 2 campeões que meu irmão, deram tudo de si e a luta foi boa, cara. Eu não vejo um erro, eu não vejo que um erro, não. Eu acho que eu tive a minha chance de vencer a luta. O Max conseguiu superar esse momento e ele teve a chance dele e ele conseguiu acabar com a luta. Eu acho que isso faz parte, para mim, eu acho que eu não vejo problema não. Acho que agora é uma nova história, eu acho que tanto eu quanto ele, a gente sabemos o potencial de cada um, e vamos dar o melhor de novo. Eu acho que ganham com isso são os fãs que, meu irmão, a gente vai lá dentro e vai lutar.
I think that the first fight, first of all, was great, and I think that we gave our all. We both came out as champions. And, you know, it's a sport. You can't predict what's going to happen. You can't count on exactly what's going to happen. I don't see necessarily any mistakes. I think that I had my chances in the fight, and Max had his chances and was able to finish the fight. So there's really not much to be said. I think it was a great fight, and I think that the fans are the ones who win.
Right. Now you also know Max's offensive skill set better. What have you changed this time around, whether in your camp or otherwise, compared to the last time you fought Holloway?
O que você mudou nesse camp desde a última luta?
Cara, eu acho que a mudança que eu tive, eu passei um mês treinando com o Robert Garcia, boxe, eu só me filtrei. Assim, eu tentei focalizar, né? Eu acho que eu vinha numa zona de conforto, sem saber, né? Então, eu procurei ver onde estava o meu erro, eu procurei evolução, né? Eu acho que nisso, eu acho que eu tive uma melhora muito grande passando esse mês lá e passando só treinando boxe, vendo uma nova filosofia, como assim, para implementar no meu estilo de luta. Eu acho que nessa a gente vai totalmente diferente por essa experiência que eu tive lá com o Robert Garcia.
Yeah, I spent about a month boxing with Garcia, and you know, I feel like I was in my comfort zone, and I needed to evolve, and I think that's exactly what I did, focusing on the boxing. I think I evolved a lot. I got a lot better, and I was happy with his plan.
That's fantastic. Now, Holloway just talked about this fight being for his legacy. You know, what does this fight represent for you, knowing that you can get your championship back? What does this fight mean for you?
O Holloway acabou de falar que essa luta era pelo legado dele, né? Mas o que essa luta significa para você, recuperar esse cinturão?
Tudo, como se fosse uma nova história, né? Eu acho que é um começo de um novo reinado, de novo, vamos falar assim. Eu estou em busca de recuperar esse título e manter ele até eu sair do esporte, né? Então eu tenho um contrato com a UFC e quero honrar meu contrato sendo campeão. Acho que essa é a minha meta, esse é meu objetivo dentro do esporte. Então, significa tudo. É um novo recomeço, né? Eu acho que eu me sinto de novo como se estivesse fazendo a primeira luta do UFC.
You know, I think this is a new chapter in my story. I think that there's a lot that can be said, and I want to win this title, and I want to finish my fights off in the UFC. I want to finish those off as a champion, so I want to honor that contract, but this is a new stage in my career.
All right, one final question for you, Jose. I know this week it's all about you and Holloway, but one other interesting that you mentioned recently was the fact that you understood why Conor McGregor did what he did and did not blame him anymore. Does that finally put the rivalry between you two to rest?
Ele disse que leu que você falou que não importa o que o Conor McGregor fez e tudo mais. Você acha que acabou a rivalidade entre vocês dois?
Cara, eu nunca tive rivalidade com ninguém, né? Acho que eu sou um profissional. Não vejo essa rivalidade como todo mundo fala. Eu acho que a gente promoveu bem a luta foi uma grande luta, sendo que a luta acabou muito rápido. Eu acho que isso que ficou para mim marcado, né? Não tive a possibilidade de mostrar tudo aquilo que eu treinei para chegar lá na luta e desenvolver. Não vejo uma rivalidade que todo mundo acha que eu não gosto dele, que eu xingo o cara, não. Isso faz parte, cara. É um esporte onde que ele se promove muito falando. E eu não, eu sou um atleta, eu sou um lutador. Eu treino, todo dia faço aquilo que eu gosto e chego lá dentro e fazer o meu melhor. Por exemplo, agora, eu acho que não tem uma rivalidade entre o Max me vencer. Eu fico com aquela vontade de devolver, porque todos nós atletas achamos sempre que nós podemos vencer todo mundo. Eu acho que essa rivalidade, essa que para mim que importa, não uma rivalidade fora do cage. Eu acho que fora para mim do cage não acontece nada. Eu levo minha vida, eu gosto de fazer o que eu gosto e assim que vejo as coisas.
You know, there was never really any rivalry between Conor McGregor and I. I think that we promoted the fight well. He talks to promote his fight, and I fight. We're different in that, but you know, the fight ended really quickly, and I couldn't really show what I trained for all those months. But you know, I think the real rivalry is inside of the cage, and it's every athlete's desire is to win. So that's exactly, you know, I don't have any rivalries with Max or anything, but inside of the cage, we're athletes, and we want to go in there and want to win.
Understood. Thank you so much, guys.
No problem. Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, as a reminder, it is *1 to be placed into the queue at this time. We next move to Rodney James Edgar with MMA Latest News.
Awesome. Thank you. Hey, my first question is for the champ. Max, listen, I know a lot of people have asked different questions about Cub Swanson, but one thing I have not heard asked of you is, was he ever presented as an option as a replacement for Frankie Edgar, or did they just go to Jose Aldo straight away? Did the UFC just offer Jose straight away?
To be honest, they gave me a couple names. You know, they said, they didn't tell me, oh, yeah, you're fighting this guy, and this guy. They said, oh, here's ideas, and I told my manager called me, Frank is hurt, and he called me, he's like, oh, this is the UFC ideas, and then I told my manager, call me back when you have a contract. I don't care who the hell I'm fighting, just make sure you give me a fight, and I hung up, and then the next time he called me it's Jose Aldo. The contract is in the email. I signed the contract, I sent it back over, that's what it was.
Okay, thank you. Do you care to share who those other names were?
It's what everybody's been saying about, you know. It was just rumors. This is what we heard, you know. The 45ers, you know, the most of the top 45ers, you know, some 55ers, and that's about it, you know. The names that everybody's been throwing around is what I heard. I don't know if you heard anything else you can share, but that's all I heard.
Okay, thanks. And then you've actually, you know, fought Jose Aldo and Cub Swanson. Which fight was more competitive? Which opponent was more competitive?
Man, you asking a question you can go answer yourself. Watch that fight. Watch the fight. There's one fight, you know, where people say it happened a long time ago, and then there's one fight that people think the guy won 2 rounds on me. So, you know, at the end of the day, I don't know. You know, me and Cub fought so long time ago, and everybody, and the first matchup was just me. The fight with me and Aldo just happened. So at the end of the day, who knows what happens? Like I said, you know, it's just fighting. You know, fighting anytime can happen. So I don't really judge my fights of what happened before or the rematch. You know, now it's time for rematches, and I'm not going to base it off the last fight. You know, I'm sure he saw something in there. My opponent saw something in there that they didn't see watching film on me, so they're going to change something. So I'm going to come change too. You know, I'm looking for the best fighters. I want the best guys that night, and because I want to prove, you know, I'm the best man alive.
Okay, perfect. In my opinion, both of those fights, you know, you were very dominant. So best of luck to you, champ. One more question for you. Detroit, Michigan is notoriously very cold this time of year. You come from a warm climate. How do you react to cold weather?
You know, go watch my, you know, the Cup fight was cold weather. The Toronto fight, Pettis fight was cold weather. The last Jose fight, I didn't even know Brazil gets cold. Brazil is pretty cold to me. You know, I thought Brazil was like Hawaii. I was wrong. I was cold some nights, and the weather don't care. You know, I'll probably be inside most of the time. We like traveling around. You know, if Detroit got cool stuff to see, then we'll go outside. But the cold weather, I don't mind it. You know, it's just a place where we gotta fight. It's a place of where I'm going to war, and you gotta adjust. You know, you gotta adjust. Just like the fight, you gotta adjust every round. You know, you gotta adjust the climate and all this. This is warrior spirit in me. I don't really care where we fight. You know, as long as we get a fight in UFC Hawaii, later on down the line, I'll be happy.
Well, I hope to see that, and I thank you again, champ. Next question is for Jose Aldo. As we stated earlier in this call, you rarely take you know, fights on short notice. You were very big for a featherweight, so do you have to focus a lot more attention on cutting weight since you don't have a full camp?
Ô, Júnior, como você já falou mais cedo, você nunca teve a oportunidade de aceitar muitas lutas em cima da hora, né? Mas como você é um peso-pena grande, faz alguma diferença na sua perda de peso aceitar uma luta assim?
Não, eu acho que não tem diferença nenhuma, pelo fato de eu só faço a perca de peso na última semana, né? Então, hoje em dia, graças a Deus, eu estou tão adaptado a isso que não sinto dificuldade mais de bater peso, né? Então, geralmente, eu começo no domingo e vai até a semana da luta. Então, não tem problema nenhum, né? Isso na perca de peso. Eu acho que a dificuldade que eu já passei ficou passada. Hoje já está bem mais tranquilo.
Yeah, I don't think there's any really difference. I lose my weight on the last week, and I haven't been having any problems making weight. So if I had any in the past, that's in the past.
Okay, and just one more question. The same question about the climate. I know for me personally, you couldn't pay me enough money to go somewhere cold to fight. How about you? How do you react to cold weather?
Como é que você vai reagir ao clima frio lá em Detroit? A diferença do calor aqui do Brasil.
Pois é, né? Dessa vez agora a gente está treinando aqui no calor e vai estar no frio. Para mim, não faz muita diferença pelo fato de que eu sempre estou no lugar com refrigeração. Então, não tem uma diferença tão grande. A gente está no ginásio, onde que tem um ar-condicionado, então já estou tão adaptado a isso que não tem uma diferença de clima, não, né? Geralmente a gente está dentro do hotel, faz tudo dentro do hotel e depois só vai para dentro do ginásio. Então, não vejo a diferença se está frio ou calor.
I don't really feel a difference. It's hot in Rio right now, but I train in air conditioning most of the time, and the arena has air conditioning, and we're in the hotel most of the time, so I don't think it makes too much of a difference.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Best of luck.
Thank you, brother. No problem. Thank you.
And with no further questions in queue, I'd like to turn the conference back over to Dave Lockett for closing remarks.
Thank you, everyone, for joining today's call. We look forward to an exciting event on December 2nd in Detroit. To those of you in the United States, I'd like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and to everyone